And Sandra, if you're on, can you make me the host? Oh. Okay. Okay, everybody. I think we're loading into the room, so that's great. I'm just ticking off everybody's name here, and I think I've got everybody ticked off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, perfect. And 5. Okay, great. Hi, everybody. Oh, I think we're just we're getting some more folks coming into the room, so I'm going to pause again for a moment and just let people come into the room. Okay, I think we've slowed down a little bit there. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Patrick Sullivan. I'm the President and CEO of the Halifax Chamber. I want to start off by thanking our sponsor, the Nova Scotia Association of Realtors, for making all of these webinars possible. I'd also like to thank our councillor candidates for both running in the municipal election and for being with us today. Today, we'll be hearing from District 4, which is located in Cole Harbour, Westphal, where Laura Lee is currently the incumbent for another few weeks, I guess. The Halifax Chamber of Commerce appreciates the time and effort that is required to run and to become a councillor in Halifax. Also, I want to thank our viewers for attending today, and we hope our viewers are able to gain some valuable insights into the district councillor or the candidates for councillors and are able to ask any questions that are relevant to them. Given the restrictions with COVID-19, we were unsure whether candidates would be able to canvass through their district, potentially losing that personal touch campaigning. So we thought that this would be a good way to introduce yourselves to some of your constituents and to us at the Chamber. The Halifax Chamber knows how important the role of the municipality is to the success of our business community, and that is directly linked to the importance and the quality of our councillors and the decisions that they make. We wanted to hear and ensure our members and the community can hear and ask questions directly of the candidates. For those of you that don't know, the overall goal of the Halifax Chamber of Commerce is to create value and prosperity for our over 1,700 members. Through our 2019 to 23 strategic plan, we're providing the services that businesses need, hosting virtual and in-person events that will help them learn, and are advocating for the conditions in the economy that will enhance their prosperity. Our task forces, fostering private sector growth and accessing a skilled workforce, are currently working towards goals that aid in our members' prosperity and the economic growth of the municipality. We usually, in a good year, host more than 100 events per year, which focus on many of those areas mentioned above. We have signature and annual events, which often feature local entrepreneurs, immigrants, post-secondary institutions, and business organizations. Each year, we provide our members with the opportunity to hear the state of the municipality, the state of the province during luncheons, and celebrate our members' successes at our business awards. As I mentioned, the Nova Scotia Association of Realtors is sponsoring this series of Meet Your Candidates webinars, and we'd like to say a big thank you to them for supporting this idea. At this point, I'll pass it over to Roger with the Nova Scotia Association of Realtors to welcome the crowd and to say a few words. Roger.
Great, thanks, Patrick. As Patrick mentioned, my name is Roger Boutler. I'm the CEO for the Nova Scotia Association of Realtors, and NSAR, as we're known, is very pleased to sponsor this series of Meet Your Candidate events. NSAR represents over 1,600 members across the province, all the way from Yarmouth to Cape Breton, and realtors know communities. We know the communities we serve, from the schools and recreation facilities to the service providers and commute times. We are your trusted guides. Realtors connect home buyers to potential cost savings and government programs such as the First Time Home Buyers Incentive. We also play a key role with our elected officials to strengthen our housing markets. In 2019, the average housing transaction done through the NSAR MLS system generated an estimated $47,600 in spin-off spending, totaling over $586 billion in spending in 2019 in Nova Scotia. The real estate industry is proud to be such a major contributor to our vibrant communities. As we all know, housing inventory and vacancy rates are extremely low in HRM. Without housing, our communities suffer. And housing is a spectrum from community and social housing to new builds. Realtors believe everyone should have a place to call home. That's why we are so pleased to participate in this series of discussions to help shape how our communities and our municipalities move forward. From speeding up development permits to creating more rental spaces and encouraging backyard and secondary suites, we can all play a part in moving forward to build better communities. So once again, thank you to the Halifax Chamber for this opportunity to sponsor today's events. And thank you to each and every one of you candidates who has taken the time to put themselves forward during this election. Patrick?
That's great. Thank you very much, Roger. Now on to the main event. Each candidate will have exactly 3 minutes to introduce yourself and give a few reasons for running, and then we'll get on to the questions. Our questions will be a combination of those that you may have already received and some from our viewers today. So please, for the viewers, you will see at the bottom of your screen, there's a chat function and a Q&A function. Please enter your questions in the Q&A. That's the best place to put them. Or in the chat function if you like, but the Q&A is generally the best area. And then we'll do our best to get to all of those questions. If we don't, we'll send the remaining questions over to the counselors so that they can follow up. Candidates will have eventually 1 minute to answer the questions, and we'll kind of rotate through. So I'm going to start with no particular order. I'm going to kind of go down the list of people that I have, and then I'm going to go up the list and back and forth and all sorts of things. So you never know when you'll be called on. So keep an eye out. Sorry, I'm just trying to move my screen around so I can see all of you again. Okay, so you'll see that we put this big ugly clock right in the middle of the screen. If you move your mouse, I'm hoping you're on a computer rather than an iPad, but if you're on a computer, you can move your mouse over to where the pictures are between the clock and your pictures. And if you grab that line that appears and pull it and make it smaller, then the clock will get much smaller and we'll still see all of your smiling faces, okay? It makes it a little easier. I think my colleagues may pin you and that sort of thing, but it's generally easier, I think, if you make the clock a little bit smaller. We do plan to be firm, unlike the U.S. presidential debates. We do plan to be firm about the clock. So again, this particular bit will have 3 minutes, and then we will turn off your mic so that we can get on to the next candidate to ensure everyone has the same amount of time. So I hope that's okay for everyone, but just to give you a warning, we'll do it in a nice way, but we'll just remind you at 3 minutes. So let's get started. I'm going to get started with, I'm going to remind you of the question. This is an opportunity for you to introduce yourselves and to give a few reasons for running. And then we can get into things. Just for everyone that's watching, if you do ask questions in the Q&A, and the candidates should be able to answer, or we should be able to get through most of the questions. The candidates can also see the questions in the Q&A and chat by opening those, so you can keep an eye on those as well. All right, so you'll know what the questions are as we're from the viewers as we're going along. So now I'm going to get into it for the first 3 minutes. Start out with Ryan Burris. Ryan, we'll let you guys unmute yourselves. There you go, Ryan.
Hi there, how are you?
Good.
I'm Ryan Burris, and I'm decided to run in this municipal election because I was tired of not seeing change and things didn't quite go my way. I have 2 adult teens living at home. Housing is definitely an issue. They can't afford to leave. They can't afford to move out. And if we're going to strive as a business community, especially post and during pandemic, we have to have the bare minimum housing to expand on and help with our expanding our economic situation here. There's a lot of things that need addressing in this city, and it's going to be tough in the future with the financial restrictions that are going to be in place after and during this pandemic. and hopefully we make it through the next few weeks with and the long weekend with little to no active exposure on that. I always said that I was not happy with what happened in politics, municipal especially, and I can only make change if I bring myself forward to be involved and be a part of it. So I'm young, I'm fresh. I think I can bring some new perspective to council and go from there. The other things we need to talk about in like District 4 specifically, like recreational opportunities, Harbour Place, it needs a revitalization. Sportsplex took over 10, 12 years for the revitalization from the first time they spoke. The other thing, we got recreational opportunities here, but we need to look at that so we can have fair exposure to gym space. We need to look at how we allocate these things. And as far as housing goes, as a municipality, we can do a lot more than we're doing now. Everybody seems to think it's a provincial issue, but we issue the building permits here municipally. So we can kind of have somewhat of a say in what happens. And if we don't like what development is pushing back on us, well, we got to work with developers, but at the same time, we need housing. We need low-end housing, middle-class housing. We don't need high-end units right now. We need to make it more desirable for the developers to make average type units and not this ridiculous high-end units for us. It definitely makes it difficult on the business community. Wages, staffing. If your staff can't find a place to live affordably near you and have transit, then we just can't do business. And our real estate market has been intense the past few months and even before that. And it's showing signs of being stronger and stronger as we go forward. That's me. I'm here. I'm willing to answer any questions anybody has. Thanks for the invite and thanks for hosting this event.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much, Ryan. We'll go to Jamie Mcneill. Jamie?
Well, thank you very much, and thank you to the Chamber for this opportunity, and thank you to NSRA for hosting this. My name is Jamie Mcneill. I have a degree in finance from St. Mary's University, where I currently sit as a member of their Board of Governors. I've spent almost 20 years of my career working in public policy at various levels of government. Provincially, federally. I did a little bit of work also in municipal government as well. Currently, I run a renewable energy company here in Nova Scotia, and we have contracts and opportunities in Nova Scotia as well as right around the world. And I understand completely the challenges that many businesses and many individuals are going through as we go through this global pandemic. And quite frankly, that was one of the biggest reasons why I decided to get into this race. I understand that the decisions that Halifax Regional Municipality is going to make over the next 12 to 16 months could potentially impact this municipality and our province for a generation. Responsible financial management is going to be something that's going to be key as we go forward as a municipality. The decisions that we make are going to be critical, and I can't stress enough that the municipality at times like this has to get back to focusing on the things that are essential to our citizens and to our residents, to be able to ensure that businesses have the opportunity to succeed, to ensure that people have an opportunity to be able to participate in the economy and to have housing. I think that one of the things that has come up time and time again over this campaign, and that each candidate has heard universally, is the need for more housing. And right across the spectrum, and Ryan's absolutely correct, that while we talk a lot about social housing, the next level up, that mid-tier of individuals, 20 to 25 years old, making $40,000 or $50,000 a year, just unable to be able to get into the housing market and not able to develop equity and net worth and be able to have home ownership as something that is something that they can take pride in. We need to make drastic changes and to take action to ensure that our housing stock increases to meet the demands that we are currently seeing. So I look forward to your questions. I thank you again for hosting this, and thank you very much.
Okay, thanks, Jamie. And now we'll go on to Daryl Johnson. Daryl, unmute yourself there. Oh.
Okay, all set. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Daryl Johnson. I was born and raised in Halifax North End, and after growing up there, I moved to Harbour, and I've been living here in this community for the past 22 years. I've raised my daughters here, and I've been involved and connected to the community ever since. My education includes a bachelor's degree from Dalhousie University, where I have obtained a sociology and criminology degree. I'm also shy of 2 credits of social work, which I plan on obtaining and getting in the near future. I also have studies in the social justice system, and I currently have a policing science degree as well. My work experience includes working with a diverse community as a community engagement librarian. I do a lot of work in advocating on behalf of the homeless and marginalized community, as well as the vulnerable population. I supervise, currently I supervise 2 lunch programs that are geared towards food security in low-income housing areas, as well as the Basin District that I work out of. I've also worked as a youth advocate, where I worked out of North Preston, and I worked closely with the youth in that community to help them navigate through the education system as well as the criminal justice system. My volunteer work includes working with the RCMP here in the Harbour District as a community constable, and I also had been coaching in this area as a basketball coach. I believe my skill set and the assets that I bring will help me become a great leader for this community, and as well as a council member. And I believe my skill set that I'm bringing with me, I have many skill sets to offer in terms of the mental health system, the criminal justice system, the education system, and as well as, like, as I mentioned before, working with marginalized communities.
Okay, that's great. Thanks very much, Daryl. Trish Purdy. Trish.
Hello.
You're good to go.
Okay, hi. Thank you. Thank you, Halifax Chamber of Commerce and NSAR for hosting this event. My name is Trish Purdy, and I'm running for District 4. My background is in fitness and health. I've spent 26 years in the fitness industry in various different roles, teaching, training, wellness coaching in corporate businesses throughout HRM, and spent a few years running the fitness department at Harbour Place. And Harbour Place was my base for 26 years, and I worked at other gyms and other recreational centers around HRM, but have always kind of kept a base there at Harbour Place. It's home away from home. My background in education, I have a arts degree in psychology. 4 years ago, actually, I started my Master's of Divinity at Acadia. with the intent of kind of transitioning out of fitness and health and into a more holistic career. I could see myself doing some sort of community ministry. So I first started eyeing Laura Lee's position years ago. I've known her for many years through Harbour Place, and we live in the same neighborhood. And I thought, oh, she has a great position. She has the ability to touch so many people's lives and kind of be like a support and a representative for our community. And I thought, oh my goodness, that's exactly what I can see myself doing, kind of like be a mama bear to a whole community. And my kids, I've got 6 kids, 3 biological, 3 that kind of God has added to our family over the last 10 years. And they're all grown up now. My youngest is 19 in the second year of St. Mary's. He's a football player there. And they're leaving home. And I just thought, like, I'm meant to nurture and take care of. So when Laura Lee decided not to reoffer, I thought I can use my master's education that I've worked towards and my natural desire to really pour into our community. So it's been a really great experience so far, this campaign. I really appreciate meeting so many people in our district and learning about the concerns and the needs that we have right here in District 4. And I'm looking forward to having the privilege and opportunity to represent our district on City Council.
Okay.
So thank you. Thank you again for hosting us.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Trish. Okay, on to John Stewart. John.
Hello. Okay then, my name's John Stewart. First off, I'd like to thank the Chamber, Patrick, and especially Kathleen for all of her organization to get this show on the road, so to speak, and the Nova Scotia Realtors Association, Roger, for your sponsorship. Now, a little bit about me. I've lived in Cole Harbour for 33 years. I have a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science. I have Bachelor of Education and Master's of Education in the Foundations of Leadership, and I have master's courses from St. FX in Administration as well. I've been an educator for 34 years at a local high school. I've served as a teacher. I'm the registrar there, so I do all of the scheduling and look after all of the marks and attendance for a school of approximately 1,000 students. I've been a firefighter for 24 years. Started off as a firefighter, worked my way up, so I was the captain in charge of all the volunteers in the Cole Harbour Westphal region. During that time, I've also been a member of the Firefighters Association with all of its community work. I've worked with Diabetes Canada, Muscular Dystrophy Association. With our Ladder-a-thon, we were approaching $1 million that we have raised for charity and given to the Muscular Dystrophy Association. During all of this time, though, people have started coming to me because they recognize my ability as a problem solver, and I'm approaching my retirement from school work. And matter of fact, I had retired. I was asked to come back to help out during the COVID situation we're having at the school. Otherwise, I would be retired now. And people have started coming to me, and I recognize being a counselor as the way for me to continue helping people solve their problems and helping them with find their own solutions to the problem through education. And I just see that as my way to continue helping people in Cole Harbour, something I've always wanted to do and I've done since the day I moved into the community. Thank you.
Okay, thanks very much, John. I appreciate that. And now on to Carolyn. Carolyn, are you close by? There you are. Oh, you're on mute.
Hi, sorry about that. Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
My name is Caroline Williston. I'm 26 years old. I didn't grow up in Nova Scotia. I'm actually from Ontario, born and raised. I moved to Nova Scotia 3 years ago. it was never a place I thought that I would end up. I moved here because I met a guy from here, and that relationship didn't work out. But by the time that happened, I had fallen in love with the province and the people and the land, and you know, I could see that I could have a really great life here, and so I decided to stay. I've been in Nova Scotia for 3 years. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. I've worked in hospitality my entire life. I've worked in restaurants in Ontario, in Banff, Alberta, and now here in Halifax as well. I went to university for political science for a brief period of time, and I have volunteered on political campaigns in the past, but I didn't think I would ever run for office. The reason why I did is some people have kind of already touched on it. I was very, very fortunate these last few months when a lot of people around me were not so lucky, and it wasn't necessarily because of anything that I did. It was just multiple scenarios of luck and good fortune and having people who were able to help me when things got tough. And I watched people around me who weren't as fortunate, who were struggling with things like housing and trying to find a job and things like that. And I believe that most of our problems come from the fact that we don't really see a lot of representation in our political leaders in regards to the vast array of people that exist in this municipality versus the people that are on our city council. And it's really hard for working class people to run for office. I've volunteered on campaigns in the past, I think I said that, but I witnessed this firsthand. Part of it's money, but part of it's time. And I'm young. I have a lot of free time and a job where I only work 25 hours a week. I'm passionate about this, and I have a genuine desire to do good. I don't necessarily think that I have all like the right answers or all the good answers. I just think that I'm one voice that has a variety of experiences that can be beneficial in this council. Last year, I personally struggled to rent in the city when the vacancy rate was at 2%. So I can't even imagine what it's like renting now. And, you know, just being a young adult trying to make it on your own when, you know, the cost of living keeps going up and our wages stay relatively the same. I just relate with a lot of these struggles and see the value in really trying to focus attention on them. And I guess that's kind of what I'm trying to bring to council by entering my name in this race. So yeah, that's kind of a bit about me.
Okay, that's great. Thanks very much, Carolyn. Okay, thank you, everybody. I think I got everybody, right? Yes. Okay, perfect. That's great. Now I'm going to jump back to Roger at the Nova Scotia Association of Realtors. Roger, did you want to come back on and ask your question of the candidates?
Sure.
Okay.
Give me 2 seconds here. There we go.
There you are.
Here I am.
Okay.
So the first question is for all the candidates to answer. So purchase and rental housing supplies are near historic lows in Nova Scotia. Housing is essential to our communities and our businesses. How will you ensure there is a healthy housing mix that includes the entire spectrum from community housing, rental, and home ownership?
Okay. So, so a reminder that everyone will get 1 minute to answer these questions. It is difficult to answer a question in a minute, but I know you can all do it. I'm going to ask Kathleen or Sandra to stick up the question, perhaps in the chat so that everyone can see it again. And Roger, can I just get you to read it one more time for everybody?
Sure.
Okay.
So purchase and rental housing supplies are near historic lows in Nova Scotia. Housing is essential to our communities and our businesses. How will you ensure there is a healthy housing mix that includes the entire spectrum from community housing, rental, and home ownership?
Okay.
And I see the chamber has also put it in the chat box as well.
There you go. Perfect. Okay, that's great. Thanks, Roger. And you can see the questions in the chat. And again, I'm just going to jump around to people and kind of move around so that no one's first and no one's last on an ongoing basis. So, okay, Jamie, I'll go to you first.
Well, thank you very much. This is an incredibly important topic, one that has come up time and again. As somebody who has worked on both sides of the table, both from the government perspective and as a business owner who is trying to deal with government, I find it's an attitudinal change that needs to happen. I think that Halifax has tried to put in place through the center plan and other developmental plans that they've put forward an opportunity for developers to come forward and develop the housing stock. What I think needs to happen now is an attitudinal change inside of staff at HRM, where they need to be focused on ways to trying to say yes, ways to try and move at the speed of business, understanding that taking an extra week or 3 weeks, I've spoken to developers who have been trying to get projects done going on decades instead of months or weeks or even years. They're going on decades. This is unacceptable, and the approach by staff to get an attitude of getting things done has to be first and foremost.
We're going to cut you off there. So thank you, Jamie, for demonstrating that we're serious about stopping at 1 minute. There we go. That's just to remind everybody, but thank you very much for that answer. And now I'm going to go to Ryan. Ryan?
Yeah, the culture in the HRM is there's no accountability. So the staffers in HRM, there's no pressure from their supervision. There's no, we're not holding them accountable. So it's exactly it. Red tape in this city has always been an issue. Change is difficult. Projects get held up. We have the project up here at Akuma Holdings in our district. City staff is holding that project up. That project could be going now. For what reason? I'm not sure. They just don't seem to want to play ball all the time. We definitely have to change the culture, as Jamie was saying. We have to offer incentives for developers to produce less high-end properties and more of a mid-spectrum of properties. And then the low end, we really have to look at what we can do as a city to bring more of those houses in. And we need to look at ways to make it more desirable for development and bring housing to the community.
Okay, there you go, Ryan, right on time. Thank you very much. Okay, up to John.
Hello. Okay, thank you, Roger, for your question. First of all, my plan would be that new developments should always include an affordable housing component. And by integrating affordable housing into the entire community, we introduce a pride of ownership. And this allows that more people will be wanting to move into the new areas. Once they have that percentage of affordable housing in there, we rush them through the permitting process. We get them building as fast as we can. And this allows for more people that want to trade up to a larger house to be involved in this, because there are developments with larger houses. We have people that are seniors that want to move to a smaller house. They can move to a smaller house, and there are houses available there. And by having all of this extra housing of people moving into the newer houses, we are guaranteeing that there will be resale properties available, and that makes the entire mix just like you were asking for.
Okay, that's great. Thanks very much, John. Over to Caroline, sorry. Okay. Oh, you're on mute. There we go. Yep.
Thank you. So yes, we are in an affordable housing crisis right now, but we first need to look at what type of units are in highest demand, because it's not all equal. I believe that 2-bedroom units in particular in regards to affordability are much lower than the 1% average, which is already pretty low. So we need to focus on where the biggest need is. Obviously we know we need affordable units overall, but in regards to size and neighborhoods and things like that, we need to concise that just so we can address it properly. Also, we need to focus on doing affordable units as quick as possible. We have a lot of office space buildings that are currently emptying out just because a lot of companies are going in the digital age. We could retrofit those buildings into smaller affordable units to address the crisis right now and lessen the supply demand problem that's also affecting the market right now too. That's my minute. So
that's great. Thanks, Caroline. Appreciate it. Daryl, over to you. Oh, I think you're on mute, Daryl. There you go.
Okay, sorry about that. All right, I grew up in low-income housing, so I have a little bit of a better understanding of what needs to take place. The right mix of housing would help improve a strong, healthy community. We need more moderate income households to help with 1 or 2 person households and to accommodate our families, such as our new immigrants, our low income earners, and our 2 person households. So what needs to happen, and I would push for this and lobby for a lot more affordable housing in our communities so that we can stop the influx of condos and luxury apartments and make it affordable for everybody to live.
Okay, there you go. Thanks very much, Daryl. And last but not least, over to Trish. Trish.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, hi. So from what I've been learning, the municipality doesn't really have much say in really the housing crisis or predicament, except from the standpoint of amending bylaws and such, position to provide funding and tax incentives for that type of thing. But I do think that we can be and provide and facilitate a pro-development culture in our city. And like Jamie said, I was also talking with developers, and they just said it's just a very long process to get plans approved. Whereas some commercial, like for example, in Dartmouth Crossing, the commercial development.
You're at time, Trish. Trish, we're there. So thank you very much. Sorry to cut everybody, not everybody, but cut some of you off. I apologize. You're going to hate me by the end of this, but just to keep everybody on track, it just allows us fair time for everybody. Okay. So thank you very much, everyone, for the answer to that question. I'm sure Roger appreciates that as well. Insightful. I think it's good to learn from each other as well. So thank you. Now I'm going to move on to some of our questions here. Now just remind our attendees, so the folks that are watching from home or wherever they're watching, you can certainly ask questions in the Q&A or in the chat function as well, if you'd like to do that. Meanwhile, I'm going to kind of get going with some of my questions. So, and I will again ask Kathleen and Sandra to post the question in the chat just so that we can see that question there, okay? So COVID-19 has had a great impact on the business community. How do you plan on supporting our businesses in your district as we continue to live with the virus for an indefinite period of time? So I'm just going to repeat that. COVID-19 has had a great impact on our business community. How do you plan on supporting our businesses as we continue to live with this virus for an indefinite period of time? Okay, I'm going to start with John.
Hello. Okay, first off, we need to continue to work with provincial and federal levels of government. We need to continue supporting our businesses by encouraging a buy and stay local programs. We need to continue programs such as rent deferral programs for businesses, and they must be accessible by the business, not just by the landowner. Some of the problems with the last rent deferral programs were the landlord had to apply for rent deferral assistance, not the tenants. That was for businesses and for retail. I believe wage subsidies should continue for businesses so they can retain their skilled and trained employees so they have them when this is over. And we need to be having bridging loans available for businesses that are facing hard times they need to make sure that the businesses are around when this is over, and the only way to do that is for us to support them.
Okay, that's great. Thank you, John. Back to Trish. Trish.
Hi. Actually, Patrick, I think I read your letter requesting that we either open our borders or we open the restrictions within the borders to allow more people to access our businesses and services. And I agree with you. Going door to door and meeting thousands of people in the last 5-6 weeks, the feeling I get is people don't want our borders open. So if that's the case, then I am all for loosening restrictions and allowing people to make the choice for themselves if they want to go to a environment where there might be a higher risk, and don a mask, but we need people to make money for our businesses in our city, and in order to do that, we need to be able to put more bodies in there and let them come up to fuller capacity so they can make the money that they need to make.
Okay. Thank you, Trish. We're going to cut you off there. That's great. Thank you very much. Caroline, sorry. Am I get that right by the end of this?
Okay, it happens a lot. What can we do? I believe that if we can mandate as much within our power a living wage within the municipality, that will recirculate itself back into the local economy and support local businesses as a result. A lot of people don't have extra money to be spending in business right now. So if we allow a little bit of extra cash flow, that can recirculate itself in wages and in spending and taxes as well. Improving public transportation for those who don't have a car right now. A lot of people can't justify the expense, and by improving public transportation, we make more businesses more accessible to the general public, and it also increase more employment opportunities as well, like I just said. Because of the Atlantic bubble, we definitely need to focus and centralize on local. There are local buy local campaigns going on. Maybe we could look for like a universal online selling platform to give one network to reach all local products. That might be a good idea. And yeah.
And that's it. Okay, that's great. Thank you very much. Daryl? Oh, you're on mute, Daryl. There you go.
All right, I believe we can continue to support our local businesses by helping them find creative ways through this tough time with COVID restrictions. One way we can help is maybe suggest to owners to continue to be creative by having a open window delivery service or a catering service, and we can have limited restrictions to people coming into restaurants or bars with COVID restrictions, and we can also, of course, lobby for relief program funding to help these businesses stay afloat in these tough times with COVID. With the relief programs, they're going to help stimulate the economy, and over a slower period of time, we can help these businesses survive.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much, Daryl. On to Ryan.
We basically need to focus on buying local and influxing our local economies. We can do that right here in the municipality. Often building municipally and spending municipal money, we tend to pick the largest, easiest contractors. We have quite a few staff in HRM that could possibly oversee huge projects. We don't have to give all the pie to the big companies that aren't even owned in Nova Scotia. We want to influx money into our own economy. We got to spend it in our own economy. The taxes, corporate taxes, business taxes, stuff like that, we can't raise them right now. They should remain the same. And in some cases, depending on the industry, we may remove taxes altogether in some instances. if we have 60% of our restaurants closed by the end of the year, we're in trouble tax-wise anyway. We have to look at deferring tax payments, deferring payments like that, and really just offering the support that these businesses need and deserve.
Okay, that's great. Thanks very much, Ryan. And Jamie, last but not least.
Thank you very much. First and foremost, I think that we need to look at tax holidays for businesses. We also need to address the fee structures that many of these businesses face. All of these things, which on, as an individual basis may not add up to much, when you look at the number of fees that businesses face, that amount of money has a significant impact on them. Another thing that I've heard from businesses is they are trying to adapt. They're trying to change their structure to be able to meet the challenges head on. And we as a municipality need to be able to support them in that, being able to allow them to expand their businesses, not have them waiting on approvals and reviews by municipal staff. The businesses know what they need to be able to do. The entrepreneurial spirit will allow them to find ways with our help to be able to adjust to this. We need to be able to support them and get out of their way and provide them relief where we can provide relief.
Okay, that's great. Thanks very much, Jamie. Appreciate that. Thank you, everybody, for that round. Okay, I'm going to get on to another question. I think we've asked this or have sent this to you in advance. The municipality prior to COVID-19 was working towards commercial tax reform. Do you believe our commercial tax system needs to be amended? And if so, how would you like to do that? So I'll repeat that. The municipality prior to COVID-19 was working towards commercial tax reform. Do you believe our commercial tax system needs to be amended? And if so, how would you like to do that? I'm gonna go on to Caroline first. Oh, and you're on mute. There we go.
Alrighty, I was worried that you were going to start with me for this question. You did send the questions in advance, and I apologize. I did not look into that question very much. All I can say is that overall tax reform is and budget reform is a huge aspect of my platform. I think in times like these, in financial uncertainty, we need to be looking at every measure and seeing, is this the most efficient way we can do it? Is this benefiting people the way that we intended that it would? Is it working now the same way it was implemented? So I'm definitely all for taking a look at those policies and reforming them if necessary. I'm not a tax expert, so I would consult the opinions of numerous people more qualified than myself to weigh in, and also speak to the people that the reparations, negative impacts have personally affected, and I would base my opinion off of that. But I don't have a very concise answer to your question right now, unfortunately.
That's okay. That was an answer. That's great. Thank you. On to John.
Okay, I've been trying to get caught up on this one because I am just been looking into it. From what I've seen, the latest proposal was to have 5 different tax zones for business: a high density industrial, big box, small medium enterprise, and a rural tax zone. I fear that if we're going to be getting into something like this, we could end up having a more complex tax system than we need. And with different tax rates within those different regions, it could be incredibly complex. I think what we need to look at is making a tax zone that is fair to businesses, especially in a post-COVID era, so that we're providing fair taxation to receive the monies that the city needs from all of its different taxpayers. And that's where I think I agree, we do need to review the system, but I think it may have to be deferred.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much. Daryl, on to you.
Okay, I believe the when I looked into this, the tax reform was basically spread out over a 3-year period. And now with COVID, we're going to have to make adjustments and look at the tax reform differently. One of the things I was thinking is that we would extend the taxes stretch it over a longer period of time, like maybe 5 years, for example. This would help alleviate some of the crisis that the economy is having, and will also help with recovery over a slower period, over a longer period of time. So if we can seriously lobby for a tax reduction, or a tax over a longer period of time, I think it will help.
Okay, thank you, Daryl. On to Ryan.
We've already been working towards tax reform, and now with the new with what's going on in the world, we really got to take a look at it. New businesses, entrepreneurs, commercial businesses should really get a break in their first 2 or 3 years of business, to give them a hand up, help out to get started. Once that's established and stuff, we got to have a basic resident should be able to wrap their head around how we're charging our businesses, our commercial businesses taxes. There shouldn't be some long, drawn out, complicated equation for us to figure it out. It should be pretty straightforward. And the reform needs to come, because right now we are not open for business in Halifax. We make it very difficult for business. We're not wafting open for business, which we should be.
Okay, that's great. Thanks, Ryan. On to Jamie.
Thank you very much. Structural commercial tax reform is something that is long overdue. It is absolutely necessary to happen. It is something that the business community and HRM has been looking for and is in desperate need of. There are things that we can do today, short-term initiatives to help businesses. But as we start entering the post-COVID scenario, as we start getting into a recovery mode, having an updated corporate tax structure that is more aligned with the needs of our small, medium-sized enterprise in this municipality, that better reflects the fact that our geographic differences from one end of this municipality to the other, the diversity of businesses is going to be critical, and to be able to have those supports and the reforms in place to assist our businesses as we leave the acute part of this pandemic and move into recovery mode.
We'll just cut you off there, but I appreciate that you want to keep going. Just a reminder to everybody, the Q&A, there is a question in the Q&A. We'll get to that in a moment. But just to remind you that it's up there so you can see it in advance of me actually asking it. And then finally, Trish, last but not least, we'll get to your answer on commercial tax reform.
Okay, hi.
Okay.
Yeah, ready?
Ready.
Ready, okay. So this is not an area of expertise for me, but I do believe from talking to our local business owners, and I've met quite a few of them during this campaign, there seems to be an imbalance of taxes. So it seems that the smaller businesses get penalized if they want to do any upgrades to their business property. Then all of a sudden their taxes are going to be raised significantly. So they're kind of caught between a rock and a hard place. Okay, if they want to make improvements on their property to make it more appealing to customers, well, they're going to pay through the nose on the tax end of things. And apparently the bigger businesses, the more, big box stores, it's just not fair, the tax system that we have right now. So, I mean, as opposed reforming taxes, I mean, I just don't know enough to make a educated answer on that. But
okay,
from talking to our local business owners,
we're going to cut you off there, but thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Okay, that's great. Thank you. I'm going to go on to the Q&A portion here, or at least the question that's available there. Remind everybody they can put more questions up there if they like. District 4 is lacking a space for older teens to socialize and be active. Where do you stand with adding a youth center in the district? Daryl, I'm going to start with you on this question.
Oh, thanks very much. That's a great question, and that is a question that is actually in my platform. Coming from a youth background with a plethora of experience, I believe that we should create a space, possibly in Harbour Place, where we can have all these services for youth under one umbrella. And the services that we need to have there, youth can go for help in addictions, suicide, mental health, or any other crisis that's going on. A few years back, we had the Rehtaeh Parsons case. She had basically nowhere to go in this community. So we need facilities that can accommodate our youth so that they can reach out. And not only that, but to have a place to relax.
Okay, that's great. Thanks, Daryl. Just got that in under time. I'm going to go up to Jamie.
Thank you very much. We're very fortunate here in this district that we do have some facilities such as Harbour Place to be able to use for recreational purposes. I also understand that there's always going to be calls for greater need and more space and to build upon that. My own kids would love nothing better. But the reality is that the municipality of Halifax is facing a $188 million shortfall this year as a result of COVID. We need to focus on the things that are essential services to our residents right now. And a lot of the things, unfortunately, I think that we would consider nice to haves or things that we would consider as almost as luxury items at the point right now will probably have to get pushed back. But I agree that when the time and the finances are correct, that creating additional spaces should be at almost the top of the list.
Okay, that's great. Thank you, Jamie. On to Caroline.
Microphone gets me every time. Okay. So adding space for older teens to socialize and be active is about so much more than providing a space for just that. Giving older teens these outlets gives them a form of socialization and stimulation. I don't know. And these provide a network and a support system and a means of entertainment that can prevent teenagers to pursuing wayward paths for, I know personally back home that the high school that I went to, that was once like the best grades within the municipality, that was once a big agricultural city. Within 50 years, most of those farms had been turned into townhome developments, and that high school then had a continuous drug problem with cops coming to the school every single day because there was just nothing out here for these kids to enjoy or amuse their time with, and they kind of resorted to these bad things as a result. So I think these are of vital importance, and we need them right now more than ever.
Okay, thank you. Trish, on to you.
Thank you. So I agree with everyone who has already spoken, my fellow candidates. I agree with Jamie. I just like, where is the money going to come from to do anything? We are with COVID. However, I also agree with Daryl and Caroline that we need something for our youth. So one of my commitments is using people to fill the need. We don't need money. We actually need people who are willing to invest and put time into this. We can use outdoor parks, and we have so many beautiful trails here in our district, and parks and ball fields. I mean, we can provide for our youth if we are willing to put the people power behind it. And I would love to do that for our youth. Mm-hmm. And we also have Harbour Place. We have a rec center here that's underutilized as well. So we have places inside too.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much. On to John.
Hey, okay, as a high school teacher, I deal with students at this age in particular on a daily basis. And although I do agree that it will be difficult to pay for this, I disagree with what Jamie said about this being something that is not one of our needs. This is an immediate need because this is something that is for our children and our future. I think that we can have something that will be less costly by having a room at Cole Harbour Place that serves as a place for them to have most of their activities. We have the recreational facilities at Cole Harbour Place. The municipality did pay for an extra basketball court in Cole Harbour High School that could be used for some activities there. And between these three things, all in one location, that could act as a temporary space to host a youth center until the more lucrative times come back and we were able to pay for a fuller actual youth center at that time.
Great. Thanks, John. Thank you very much. And Ryan.
This ties in exactly why Cole Harbour Place needs a revitalization to add some of these places. But the real focus shifts from, we have the space, we have this tons of space all over HRM properties. That space is not the problem. And we do need to get away from building freestanding structures and focus on one heating bill, one power bill, one tax bill, one spot. The biggest thing is we need to focus on our recreational department in HRM. There isn't a lot of teen programs, and post and during COVID, there are seniors as well. There's not a lot of seniors programs, and our youth and our seniors right now are the most vulnerable for mental health and social anxiety and stuff like this. I think we could also take a look and see what other cities are doing and places that, because we want to build this and have it working and spend money on it. We want to get used. If it's not going to get used, then we want to look at what is going to get used and go from there. Improve on our rec department.
Okay, great. Thanks very much, Ryan. Appreciate that. Okay, get on to another question now. How will you ensure not just only diversity in your staff reports and projects, but also inclusive feedback and collaboration? So I'm going to repeat that and then ask the guys to put that up in the chat. So how will you ensure not just only diversity in your staff reports and projects, but also inclusive feedback and collaboration as a counselor? Trish, I'm going to start with you.
Okay, thank you. This also kind of goes with another question that you are going to ask too, about how do you ensure greater community participation and public engagement. And from what I've been hearing from people in our district is they don't feel heard. So to have more inclusion and diversity in our reports, we need to have a welcoming and hospitable environment that welcome all different varieties of folk to give their opinions and their feedback, and for it to be valued and heard and incorporated into the reporting. So from what I've heard, some people have given their feedback, have given their opinion, and it hasn't even been heard. It hasn't been reflected in the end result. So, and that leads to kind of a demoralization. It's like, why bother? Why am I even voting? I heard that from quite a few people.
I'm going to stop you there, but thank you very much, and go on to John.
Hello again. First off, we cannot rely on diverse communities that have not been heard in the past to come to us with what their feedback is. We have to go to them and find out why they are not speaking to us. What have we done in the past that means that they are no longer talking to us? We have to open up ourselves to them. Once we know what the reasons for them not feeling valued are, most of which are not on their part, they're on our part. We make the changes so that they will then start to feel like they are valued. And once we know why they're not participating, we make the changes. And then we make sure that whatever input they do get, we use that input to make changes to the policies that we want to have, and we value their input as well. It's not just a matter of talking to them, we have to listen to them.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much, John. On to Ryan.
This really starts at the bottom level, at the cultural level. Like if our hiring people, if our managers, if our staffs really aren't on board with this culture, we should move on from them. We need people that want to change the culture. We need people that want to be included and include everybody else. So it starts on the bottom in staff and council, and then we need to look at new ways to get people involved. I know if you give people the option to text their feedback, everybody texts, every single buddy texts, they can text their feedback. We have the web, we have in-person meetings. The problem with these groups, as we've all seen in the past few days, is everybody wants to say, but then when it comes time to turn out, nobody turns out. So we need to make it easy for our people to tell us what they want, and we need to really focus on community-led projects. Like we can make decisions all we want, but the community needs to decide what they want, and they need to be a part of the decision from the start, right through to the finish.
Okay, that's great. Thanks very much, Ryan. Appreciate that. Okay, Daryl, on to you.
Thanks again. This is actually what I do for a living right now. What we need to do as council is, first of all, have a council that reflects the community it serves. This is going to make the community feel a little bit more at ease and be a little bit more receptive. The second thing is for council members to be visible in their communities. By engaging in community dialogue, getting out and talking to people, connecting with people, they're going to be a little bit more involved in the process. So when you're getting collecting data or getting information or getting feedback, it helps to be an all-inclusive and a collaborative approach. So ways of doing that, we can do it through surveys, or we can do it through town hall meetings, or we can just be in the community talking to people.
That's great. Thanks, Daryl. And Caroline.
Pretty much what we need to do to ensure more diversity in our staff reports and projects and stuff is, like everyone said, more awareness. And we need to take a firm, aggressive stance whenever instances that don't highlight diversity or things take place. Like, for example, a few years back, there was like a report done that revealed multiple instances of discrimination within the municipality and municipal staff. A lot of it was racially based, but also things based on gender and a few other things as well. And that report was kept confidential for 2 years until the people in that report were protesting outside City Hall. So, I mean, the report was done, we had the knowledge, but we didn't take that opportunity to be like, hey, this happened, we shouldn't have allowed this. If we ever find it happening again, we're not, anyway. So aggressive action and a very firm, real stance, not just pretty words when we talk about diversity, inclusion, and things like that.
Okay, that's great. Thanks, Caroline. And Jamie.
Thank you. This is one of these situations where the responsibility lies directly in the hands of the council. It'll be our job, it'll be my job as the councillor to walk into communities and to ensure that they know that I am available, that I make my presence known, that I am seen, that I am heard, and that more importantly, that I'm listening to each and every community inside of our district. It is also my responsibility to ensure that especially historically marginalized communities in our district are given a voice inside the municipality with staff, with initiatives that are taking place. It is the responsibility of the councillor to ensure that any activity that's happening inside of the district by the municipality is represented by each and every community inside of the district. This falls directly into the lap of the elected officials to ensure that their residents, the people they represent, have a voice, have a trusted voice, and that their input is reflected in the actions that are taken by the municipality.
Okay, oh, there you go. You squeeze those last 3 words in there. Thanks, Jamie. Okay, that's great, everyone. I think we haven't had too many questions from the public, so I'm going to get to my last question, which is probably the hardest question for you all, which is, what are your priorities for the next 4 years in 60 seconds, and how do you plan on achieving them? So what are your priorities for the next 4 years, and how do you plan on achieving them? And John, I'm going to start with you.
Okay. Well, with only 60 seconds to talk about my priorities, I'm going to be a little bit vague, but because I have a lot of priorities. My biggest priority is to look after the people in District 4 and by extension, all of HRM. Residents need to have safe and affordable places to live, to work, and to play. They need to have ways to move between these places. To achieve this, I'm going to use the lens for all decisions that I make. How does this make living in Cole Harbour, Westphal better? When I go to work, how does this traffic decision, or how does this transit decision make my life easier? How does it make my life better? My question is basically, when I deal with anything with a business, how does this make the business's life easier so that it makes the people that live in Cole Harbour, Westphal's lives easier?
Okay, that's great. Thanks very much, John. I see, Jerome, you've just joined. So the question is, and I'm not going to ask you right now, I'll let you think about it while we move around here, but what are your priorities for the next 4 years? How do you plan on achieving them? And you will have only 1 minute. I don't know that you've got a mic connected there, Jerome, because I don't see a microphone or anything there attached. And you may have frozen. So you cannot hear. Yeah, I don't think you've got a microphone attached. So just look to the lower left-hand side to the mute button. And if there's a little chevron, you can click on that. And sometimes you can move things around to see if you can get some sound. But I'm going to keep talking, or somebody will keep talking, and we'll see if you can play with that, and people will be able to hear you. So I'm going to go on to Jamie at this point. Jamie?
Thank you very much. First of all, what I want to see over the next 4 years is us moving the yardstick with regards to inclusiveness for each and every member of our community, and to ensure that everybody in our community feels like they have an equal voice inside of our municipal government. The next 4 years are going to be critical as we get into a post-COVID recovery. Our municipality is facing a $188 million shortfall this year from property taxes. Responsible financial management has to be the underpinning of everything that we do. For me, traffic safety and housing are 2 issues that have to be addressed and have to be tackled immediately in District 4. Traffic volumes are higher than our communities were designed for. Speed, distracted driving, there are a portfolio of things that we can use to address traffic. Housing, I think we've touched on. There are many things that need to take place, and an adjustment in attitude by staff, moving at the speed of business. Thank you very much, and we appreciate the opportunities to talk about these issues.
Thanks, Jamie. Appreciate that. On to Ryan.
Well, I think we need to take a real look at all our huge capital projects that are coming up and decide where we need to defer right away. We also need to look at that $180 million we're going to have a deficit in from property taxes, and see if we can collect some of it, defer some of it, and find out when we're going to possibly get some of that. We are in a housing crisis. That's just the bottom line with that. We need to take action. We need to take strong action as a municipality, and maybe some of the strongest action a municipality has taken in this country. We are the ones in the crisis, nobody else. And also, we need to really plan out the next 10 to 15 years. I talked about the sportsplex, 10, 12 years from time of revitalization to the time of completion. If we want to see any major projects happen in the next 10 years, well, we need to divert now, save money, and go that way. Also, we need to reduce our budgets right across the board. There's going to have to be budget cuts on every facet. But at the same time, we also need to focus on our youth and our seniors, and try to support our residents with their mental health. I mean, this isolation, social isolation is not good.
Okay, thanks, Ryan. Caroline.
Okay, so if elected your councillor over the next 4 years, what I would really want to see this council look at is municipal compensation reform, as well as budget reform now more than ever. Tackle our long existing racism and discrimination, and end Halifax homelessness. We can do it, and providing people with a place to live saves costs further on down the road. There's many studies that show this. As well as optimizing public transportation so that even car owners might want to use it. But win or lose, this campaign has totally invigorated me, and I plan to spend the next 4 years tackling public engagement, because that's where the issue is. Municipal election turnout on average is only about 30%. It's much lower than federally and provincially. I feel like most people don't care about politics and government because a lot of us feel like our government doesn't care about them, and that's not okay. So I want to make a platform where we can break it down, simplify it, get the information out, and make people more aware and care about what's going on around them. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. Daryl.
Thanks again. What I'm willing to do for my accomplishments in the next 4 years is focus on the feedback that I heard from the community while campaigning. The residents are in line with what I have talked about in my platform. There are traffic issues with speeding. We have issues with school zones, crosswalks. These are little tiny projects that are doable and that can be accomplished within the next 4 years. I plan to push and lobby for those things if elected, and to be the voice for the community after hearing their feedback. A personal thing of mine, what I'd like to see is a law or some sort of bylaw to help with discrimination practices. We have a serious issue in the city and it needs to be addressed, and we have to have some sort of law to have people abide by it.
Okay, that's great. Thanks very much, Daryl. Appreciate that. Jerome, we're going to give you a chance in a minute. I'm going to let Trish go, and then we'll let you talk for a few moments then. Okay, so Trish.
Thank you. Yes, so having heard from residents, traffic control issues, definitely affordable housing, just trying to help with initiatives in that area. But my commitments personally are senior support. I'm going to get a network for our seniors together with willing volunteers, people in our communities. I know seniors isolated and alone, that we have phone numbers, we have contact information to make sure we can reach out and do they have groceries? Are they okay? Especially with this COVID, it really heightened the need for this type of thing. Secondly, youth empowerment. Our youth need empowerment. I have a great idea with our business owners, local professionals, pulling in and networking and facilitating like a quarterly event where we're teaching our teens and our high school students things like they don't learn in school: budgets, debt management, entrepreneurial skills, self-discipline. What does it take to start up your own gig? And so even some mentoring opportunities with grants from the government.
But thank you very much. That's great. And Jerome, I'm going to come to you. If you can hear me, there we go. Can you take yourself off mute? There you go.
Hi, how are you?
Okay, good. So Jerome, this is what I'm going to do for you. It's a little different than everybody else. But everyone else has had a chance to answer many of the questions and introduce themselves. So Jerome, I'm going to give you 3 minutes, okay, to introduce yourself, to say who you are, and what some of your priorities are for the next 4 years. So if you'd like to tell us a little bit about yourself and your priorities for the next 4 years, and let you go for about 3 minutes. I understand you were late because your daughter was ill. So
yeah.
No problem. Sorry, but hope she's feeling better. But let's turn it over to you for 3 minutes or so you can tell us a little bit about you and what your priorities are for the next 4 years.
Yeah. Well, I'm Jerome, and my background, I have my own barbecue sauce company, which I'm supplying different kind of big stores in Halifax. And my priorities are, well, before Lorelei declared that she's not gonna reoffer, I filed my candidacy before she declared that that she's not gonna run anymore. And that's why I did my agenda. I was the first to file. I was the person who posted all the traffic issues and stuff, because I think I saw a lot of problem in District 4. So address traffic lights, traffic pattern issues in the community. As school zones needs to be safe for the kids, like speed bumps. We need bike lanes, crosswalks, road fixes, and support police officers using body cameras for safety of both civilians and police officers. That's some of my agenda.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Jerome. So, Jerome, the bad news is we're kind of wrapping up. Appreciate you joining us. I think we'll let you follow up with Kathleen, and we can get some more of your answers to some of the questions on and we can attach it to this particular event. So I'm going to wrap it up here. I'd like to thank all the candidates for participating. I will tell you, see, I'm not just saying this, I'm not just playing to the candidates, but I will tell you, I think I've had better answers from this group of candidates than from all the other sessions that we've done. So thank you very much for your input and for your feedback. A strong group of candidates. Thank you very much. I want to thank, of course, Roger and the Nova Scotia Association of Realtors for the opportunity to promote the importance of voting and the candidacies of yourselves. Thank you very much, Roger. Appreciate that. Please keep an eye on our bulletin and social media, as we have and will continue to post candidate responses to questions. I wish you all good luck and hope you have a great time in your candidacy, and I was pleased to hear Caroline say that she will continue to be active. We do need everyone to be active in the city of Halifax to ensure that we have a better city for all to live in. So thank you very much, everyone, and we'll see you all later. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you.